Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and today I'm back with a sympathy card. I really don't like to have to make these, but I wanted to do something special for one of the women in my knitting group. Her mother passed away, and I wanted to make a card for her just to show her that I'm thinking of her. So today's card is actually going to be made with the silhouette, and this doesn't necessarily have to be a sympathy card because I didn't put a greeting or a sentiment on the front, and you don't really have to, so you can make this for any occasion. But this is the card that we will be making today. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so before we get started in putting our card together, I just wanted to show you how I came up with the idea to use the vellum behind the Calla Lily portion of the card. Now, this is not a silhouette online store file. I actually found this card on Etsy, and I'm gonna go to the Etsy site or where I found the card, and this is the card itself. It's called the Calla Lily card SVG cut file and template. Now this does come with rounded corners, and it comes with the squared corners. So the card is actually $2, and normally typically I wouldn't buy just one card or one SVG file for that amount. But because you're getting two cards, it's actually like you would be paying $1 and you pay 99 cents at the Silhouette online store. So I just went on ahead and purchased it, and actually I liked it so much I would have paid $2 if it was just for the one card. So now what I'm going to do is I've already paid for it and downloaded it to my computer, so I'm going to jump back over to the Silhouette software. Now I am using the designer edition, so you'll need that to make this card. So now, and I'm sorry, actually I believe when I downloaded this there was a PDF form as well, so I think you could cut this out if you don't have the designer edition. I can't remember, but anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and open it up. So I'm gonna go and find my file, and so I'm gonna open up the SVG, and I'm gonna go to the folder that I actually have the card in, and this is the one I have, and it says square corners or rounded corners. So I'm going to choose the square corners because that's the card that I made. And now here are all your pieces. And right now I have my mat set for 8.5 by 11 because that's the card stock that I was going to be cutting the card out. I wasn't going to be using a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. So these are all your pieces. Now I originally cut the vellum piece using this cut file, but after I cut it out, it didn't come out the way I thought it was going to come out. And I think because there's no instructions on how to put this together, I think what this is this is for if you want to have everything all one color and you don't want to put this piece on top and you just want to lay this one on top. So you would bring this to the front and put this on top of there, and then go ahead and lay your card out. Now it also doesn't come with the card itself. These are just the pieces for putting on top of the card. What you'll have to do is decide what size card you're going to make, which I do explain that when we start putting the card together. So to cut my vellum piece, I'm going to move all these other pieces out of the way. And the other thing I like to do is I like to reveal my mat so I can see what I'm doing here. So now this is the piece that you'll cut out. And to cut your vellum piece, if you don't want to have to cut around this and or cut a piece of vellum that is this square size, you could actually cut this out with this shape. So what you'll need to do is you're going to click on your image, and then you're going to right click and you're going to do a release compound path. So now, as you notice, it's one solid piece now. So once I click out of that and move this, you'll see you have just the one piece for you to cut the vellum. And then what I would do is I would just go ahead and delete these pieces and then go ahead and cut this for my vellum. Now the other thing that I should have showed you before I actually did that was, so we're going to quickly do an undo until we got this all put back together. And it should be one piece. Is you should go ahead and duplicate and make a second one, because you are going to need one of these to cut out your cardstock. So you can just move that over to the side, and then you can go ahead and take your other one that you did the duplicate, and once again we're going to release the compound path, and then we're going to click on this, and I always grab the wrong thing there. We'll just click on these pieces and we'll delete those, and then you'll just go ahead and cut that piece out for your vellum. So what we're going to do now is I want you to go ahead and lay everything out on your mat, cut it out, and then you can meet me back at the table and we'll put our card together. Okay everybody, so now that I've shown you how to lay out that one piece for the front of the calla lilies and to cut out your vellum piece, we're going to go ahead and put our card together. So what I've done first of all is I've gone ahead and inked my edges for this layer and for my card layer, and I'm using the Stampin' Up! Sage Shadow to do that. I'm not going to ink the edges of my top layer piece here, and I've gone ahead and used the folder. It's called Swirls and Dents, and I don't actually have the name of who this is by. I purchased this at one of the scrapbooking shows. As you can see, this is actually for an 5 by 7 or a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of cardstock, and this cardstock is just, I believe it's 4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. So it's just a bigger embossing folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this piece on next, because then we're going to put our ribbon down here on the bottom with our bow. So I'm going to use my ATG gun to put this on. So I'm going to get some tape on the back of here, and as you can see, this was a scrap piece of fabric. Here I've been doing all this sewing and I said the word fabric. It's a scrap piece of cardstock that I had. And as I always say, use your scraps when you can. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to lay this on here. And I'm going to try to line this up as evenly as possible. And then I'm just going to go ahead and press down. So there we have it. And I'm just going to move back a little bit because that's a little bit too close there. And I'm going to straighten this out, and then we can continue. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and add our ribbon. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and made my bow and made my ribbon piece all in one. And I used my Zutter Bow It All to make this. I'm trying to start using some of the things that I bought previously that I haven't been working with. So I want to have my bow over on this side. So I'm just going to line this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ATG gun and put the tape on the back of here, because I want this to lay down flat. And you could also use some score tape if you want to do that, but I'm going to use the ATG gun. So we're going to take this, and I think I'm going to have my bow down here, and I'm just going to press this down, and then go all the way around. Now you don't have to go all the way around with this. You can just go ahead and cut that off like part way back there if you want, and I may just do that. But since I had the tape on there already, I just figure I might as well just go ahead and just go all the way around with it. And I'll just snip that off back here, along here. And then we're going to take this piece and we'll get some tape on there. And then we'll snip a little bit of that off as well on the other side. So I'm just going to run this along here. And the other thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to add a little zip-zapped dot on the back of the bow so that the bow will also stay flat. So I'm just going to take and put one of these or a couple of these back here on the bow itself. Make sure we get that in the right spot. And then just pull that off so that I can lay it down flat. And then we'll take our ribbon and go around to the back of here. And I hope I was in camera frame. I had to kind of close to myself. I think zoom in just a little bit there. Okay, and then we'll cut that piece off as well. Fold that over. So now we're ready to add that to the front of the card. So we can go ahead and just line this up here, and we'll get some tape on the back of here using our ATG gun again. And I'm going to run that down. All the way. And this is very simple card, and it can be used for more than just a sympathy card. Mine in this case is going to be a sympathy card, but you can use this particular card for any other type of card you want to make. Oop, make sure you don't get that stick in there. Okay, so now I'm going to move this out the way, and we're going to open up our card. Now, I don't think I said what size I ended up cutting this card. This card, when you go to cut it out, now you can cut it out on your silhouette or using your silhouette, or you could just cut it using your paper trimmer. So if you're going to do it on the silhouette, you want a square 10 inches wide by, let's see, I think it ended up being 6.5 tall. So that makes your card 6.5 by 5. And the file didn't come with the card itself. It only came with just the front pieces. And I don't know why I came up with that size, but that's what I came up with after I started cutting everything out and I looked at it. I thought, okay, that's the size I'm going to make it. Now, I did already input my sentiment inside there using the print and cut feature of the silhouette. So the next thing you'll do is you'll go ahead and you'll add your little top layer. Now, what I did, okay, I apologize. I don't know how my camera got so out of frame here, but I think I've got it together now. So, as I was saying, what I went ahead and did, as I showed you, I went and added vellum in the back here. And the way I put the vellum pieces on is I use score tape. And I'm just going to lay this right here. And I think I'm going to pop this up using some foam dots just to give it a little dimension off the page. So I'm going to put some foam squares on here. It looks like I'm almost out here. We have to just use some of the pieces along the side here because I don't have any. And you got to be careful where you put those because you don't want them to be seen through the vellum. So I'll add one here, and then that should be enough to pop it up off the page. Actually, we don't need these here, so I'm going to take those off. And we're just going to put one in each corner. So I'm just going to take and get one along here. And then I'll put one in this corner right here. Yep. It keeps sticking to my finger. Okay. So now let's lay that down and see how that looks. And I like the way that looks. Now before I go ahead and put this actually down, I'm going to add a few more embellishments, and then I'm going to come back with the finished card along with my envelope. Okay everybody, so I am back with the finished card, and this is what I've done. I've gone ahead and added some pearls up here at the top, and then I added some pearls along here. I kind of stuck to the theme of the designer of this card, so I didn't add any bling or anything like that. I kind of just kept what she did for designing the card, except I added just a few more pearls along here, and I did my bow a little different, and then I added some pearls on the center of the bow. So now for the envelope, I just went ahead and made an envelope using my We Are Memory Keeper envelope punch board, and the envelope size that I did was 5 by 6.5, which means you'd cut your paper at 9 1/4 by 9 1/4, and your first score mark would be 4 inches. So, and then I also went ahead and took and stamped out a little stamp that I got out of the dollar bin at Joann's. Just says thinking of you, and then I took some flowers and stamped along on each side of that, and that stamp set is Stampin' Up! Pocket Silhouettes, and I use this stamp set a lot just to add a touch to a card or an envelope. So that's it everybody. That's my sympathy card that I've made for a coworker who's also in the knitting group that I'm in, or that I started. Thanks for watching everybody. Bye.